everybody. How you doing today? Welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show. One man, one microphone, and a whole lot of NFL insight. Let's get down to it, guys. It is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. We are 15 days away. 15 days away. That's 2 weeks, boys. 2 weeks away from the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's an exciting time if you're a franchise looking to rebuild, looking to change things, the trajectory of your current franchise, that type of stuff. There's a lot of things that can happen during the NFL draft. And if you guys are new here on the last day of the week, we like to try and run some draft news, some mock draft simulators. So, hey, good morning, Mr. Detroit City, you guys. Hey, look, hey, let's just get right down to brass tacks. We've got a couple of articles here where we're going to be looking down at some mock drafts. We're going to be looking at some potential late round quarterback play for our Detroit Lions. And then, as always, we will be wrapping the night up, the day up, whatever you want to call it, whenever you're watching it, with our favorite thing to do, and that is end of the week mock draft simulator using Pro Football Focus, I believe it is. So, guys, hey, look at that right there in the chat already. One of our favorites, Mr. Detroit City, rocking and rolling. We will be talking to you later on in the show about some professional opportunities that I have been kind of poking around at here in Michigan. So, guys, if you, hey, look at this. Can't write these transitions as well. If you would like to be a part of the morning hangout, please walk on over. All right, go head down to the bathtub underneath the video here and walk on over to that subscribe button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring that notification bell, you see. So when you ring that notification bell, you, like Mr. Detroit City, like Cody Till, like I'm Chasing Chase, you guys can get the notification and come and hang out live. Currently, we're doing Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here at the Hat and Beard Show at youtube.com. As we edge closer to the regular season, though, probably around training camp, maybe a week prior to training camp is kind of what I'm feeling, we will be going 5 days a week. That's right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And if I have my way with the work schedule, we might even do some Sunday pre-game shows. But, guys, so go ahead and like the video if you enjoy the content that we make here. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you can come hang out with guys like Mr. Detroit City. And the rest of us here engage in the chat. If you're watching afterwards, comment down below. Do you like the new background? And comment yes or no. Did you touch my butt? That's what we need. And then the most important thing you can do is obviously share this around with all your friends. I realize, look, I don't want to be affiliated with myself either, but you just go ahead and based on the 60+% of you that watch us on mobile, click that share button. You don't have to share it with anybody. Just go ahead and copy that link down on the clipboard. The algorithm cannot tell the difference. So without any further ado, guys, let's get into the show.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
All right, here we are, and that's what I was wondering about. We need to make a little adjustment here. Bear with me, guys, on the screenage because I'm not quite sure how to make this more of a default setting, so let's go ahead and open this window up. I believe we are going to be heading over to CBSSports.com. A little article here about we will not be going into all 7 rounds of the draft here. Here we go. 2025 NFL 7-round mock draft. CBS Sports is predicting 3 trades in round 1 before Browns and Giants select quarterbacks on day 2. Sorry, we're just making sure everything's all plumb level and square over here. Double checking everything on our test screen. You know, we like to just keep it live for you guys, keep it fresh, keep it rolling. And now what's crazy is look at the guy. We'll go through the first round. We're not going to do all 7 rounds. I'm not that guy. And believe it or not, I do have to go to work here in the next little bit. Big surprise there. Guys, what are you doing? You got me slipping here. You got me slipping, you got me sliding, you got me ripping and riding. We need to get our Zen in before we can hit this article. That's right. The Hat and Beard Show is brought to you by nicotine, caffeine, vitamins A, vitamins B, and vitamins T, H, and C. Just yesterday, I was talking about Jalen Milroe, arguably one of the most exciting prospects in this year's draft. The athleticism is absolutely off the charts. The guy can fling it, right? And he gets the Lamar Jackson treatment, where all of the experts are saying he needs to make the switch to running back. But I think Jalen Milroe has an incredibly high ceiling as a dual threat quarterback in the NFL. Myself, not the biggest fan of dual threat quarterbacks, like me a traditional pocket passer, do your job, throw the ball. But Jalen Milroe is the sneaky pick that somebody like, as I was saying just yesterday, we were looking at the Cleveland Browns. If the Cleveland Browns are smart, they won't draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward from a position of need with that number 2 pick. They will pray to the football gods that Abdul Carter falls from the number 1 spot. The Browns can take Abdul Carter at 2, and then they can double up in the second round and get one of the other 2 quarterbacks that are, there's 4 in the top, 5 top 2 rounds, 4 or 5 guys, and Jackson Dart from Ole Miss and Jalen Milroe really just fit that nice little blend in there at the pick of 33, to 40, right, for quarterback hungry teams that are going to miss out on the Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward sweepstakes. So the Browns could be really smart in getting Jalen Milroe in the second round. We're going to walk on over to the chat here. Remember, you can be heavily involved with the chat too. Good sunny morning. Getting fired up for the draft, and I like the new background. Thank you, Jeanette Hall. I appreciate it. We tried to simplify things, streamline it a little bit, make it a little bit less clunky, I guess would be the word, trying to make it a little bit more clean for everybody. I would like to put some graphics down at the bottom, some channel name, that type of stuff, but it was just a little too busy, So, all right, here we go. Let's predict all 257 picks, but we will only read 32 of them by Chris Soso 7 hours ago. This is a 10-minute read. We are not going to go that far into it because we got our own mock draft to do at the end of the day, fellas, and we don't want to be dragging things down too much, too long, too far. I don't know what any of you are doing, but I got stuff to do. I got to get ready for work, right? I got things to do. So let's hit this coffee before we get into it. Make sure you sip on your coffee, guys. It's morning time. I don't know about you, but it is sunny, but not so warm. 35 here in mid-Michigan, and I'm so incredibly ready for the warm weather. Not that I'm wishing time away or anything. I mean, for cripe's sakes, it's halfway through April already, right? Where does the time go? But man, oh man, if I could just get I'm not even asking for mid-70s with a nice breeze and low humidity. I'm just asking for mid-60s, dude. Okay, look, y'all live in Michigan for the most part, except for you, Mr. Detroit City, down there in sunny Florida, so this doesn't pertain to you. Maybe you remember back in the day in the wintertime, so to cut down on energy costs, me and Hatton Boobs, we wrap the windows in plastic, right? So we are basically putting ourselves in a Ziploc bag. And although I do keep a couple of windows free for a nice luften here and there, I'm just tired of breathing in the same fart air all winter long, right? I'm just tired of smelling the same air, breathing in the same farts. I live in a really old house, so it just gets dusty based on the age of the house. And also the water here where I live is very high in minerals, so even humidifiers put out a real fine misty powder all over everything. So I'm very much looking forward to Christmas Day, where I get to unwrap the house, right? Unwrap the windows for the spring, open up the windows and flush all the old fart air out. Mr. Detroit City says, I remember wrapping the trailer back in St. Clair Shores back in the day. Yes, dude, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about because, god damn, dude, that energy bill hits during the winter time, and it is, I don't mind, a certain amount, but once it gets up plus the $550 into the $600 a month, that energy bill is getting a little expensive for my blood, if you know what I'm saying, because I'm kind of a cheap guy over here. I do have a theory, though. I'm thinking about looking at buying a small solar panel generator powered off of solar panels. Obviously, it'll have the 120 plug-in, so I could charge it off the main power if I wanted to as a backup cell, more or less. But I have this idea that during the summertime, I'm going to get 1 or 2 of those. And then, now windows open, 75 and sunny. Mr. Detroit City, you are killing me, brother. You are killing me. You want to send some of that weather up here, bro? I'd happily take it. But what I want to do is I want to get a couple of generators power that I can charge up with solar panels, right? Mostly to have standby backup energy on top of my combustion and my ICE generator, internal combustion engine ICE. And what I'd like to do is, 1 day out of the week during the summer, what I'd like to do is take my silent solar generators and unplug my AC units, because I don't have central air. I have window shakers, right? But unplug my window shaker units 1, maybe even 2 days out of the week, plug them into the solar generator and power everything off of that, so that my 2 of my bigger draws in the summer are occasionally being pulled off grid, and theoretically I could recoup in $10, $20 increments over the span of the summer the cost of the generator. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Detroit City might go jump in the springs after work, shit pressure washing a driveway and filling cracks. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, that's right. You do that, cleaning on this soft wash, pressure wash stuff on the side. That's good money right there. All right, dude, so I ain't gonna lie, I was looking into the home inspector stuff here. And check this out, dude. In Michigan, you don't have to have a license to do that. So I can just go start a LLC if I wanted to and start getting my name out there for home inspection. I was talking to a guy at work, and he was like, yeah, dude, shit. 10 years ago, the market was $250, $300 a pop. He goes, now it's probably $400, $500 a pop, dude. And I was like, you got to be fucking shitting me, just to go in and tell everybody how shitty of a job they've done. Man, oh man. Yeah, dude, I'm thinking about doing it. I really am thinking about doing it, Mr. Detroit City. It's something that I think what I'm going to do is me and Hat and Boo's got a plan to, we're trying to get out of debt here. And then I'd like maybe calendar 2026 look to start to, kind of maybe part-time get into that, because I work afternoons, so I can allocate some time in the mornings, weekends, that type of stuff, but kind of start to branch into that and then grow so that eventually I don't have to fucking work for anybody but my damn self anymore. So, hey, all right, back. We're here to talk about NFL news. I appreciate everyone going on that little diatribe with us there. Mr. Detroit City and I have a tendency to kind of get out in the weeds a little bit. But here we go. The time has come, the glorious time for a full 7-round mock draft predicting all 257 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. One of those overly ambitious mocks that also includes trades from rounds 1 through 7. We will only be looking at the top rounds here, or the first round here. Some of these I briefly skimmed over it, and the first 2 pretty normal, and then kind of shocking, right? So this is according to CBS Sports. Round 1, they got Cam Ward going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. Prospect ranked number 3. Position ranked number 1. The Titans' action in free agency, or lack thereof, at the quarterback position. Hint, they're going to draft Ward with the number 1 pick. I wouldn't be surprised. It's Tennessee. It's Tennessee. Tennessee is kind of a... not so great at drafting. Okay? Yeah, I mean... there are occasional guys that pop. Jeffrey Simmons, back in the day, Javon Curse, Eddie George, Steve McNair. But as of recently, I mean, who's one of the better Tennessee products that they've drafted, right? Or one of the better collegiate athletes that was drafted to the Titans. He ain't even on the fucking roster anymore. He got traded to the Eagles and won a Super Bowl, right? Arguably, in the past decade, the best pick the Tennessee Titans have had in the NFL Draft. Don't even fucking play for him no more. Number 2, Travis Hunter. He is the number 1 overall athlete and the number 1 ranked athlete in the draft. They just have him listed as athlete, which Heisman Trophy winner, dude's a hell of a... Oh, Derrick Henry. Yeah, I forgot about Derrick Henry, Mr. Detroit City. I forgot about King Henry. Derrick Yeti. I forgot about him. But let's be honest. I mean, the first few years of his career were kind of dog shit, and there was a good chance that he could have been offloaded to another organization and had an even more illustrious career. Derrick Henry, it's easy to forget when you're a bad organization that you only have 1 or 2 guys. Look at the Lions. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson was about it for a long, long time. Yeah, there's a couple other guys here or there, but that was pretty much all we really had. Darius Slay, I guess Herman Moore. But those are getting, Darius Slay, not too old, but Herman Moore's getting way into the weeds. But yeah, you're right. Derrick Henry. I forgot about Derrick Henry. And then still putting up numbers, even in his age 30-something, as a running back, and a physical running back at that. The type of running back that I really like. Those big-bodied bruisers, dude. The throwback players. A guy that's going to run you over. You know what I'm saying? Those epic battles from the early aughts. Eddie George and Ray Lewis. Remember Jamal Lewis, the upright, short, choppy stuff? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love those ages of running backs. But so here in the mock draft, easy best player available for the Browns. They got him taking Travis Hunter. Now this is something that I kind of like, though I would personally I'd go Abdul Carter myself because of countless times where I have said the importance of a defensive end and a high pressure rate defensive end can make up for a lot of deficiencies. Here, the Browns, I don't know what they're doing, if they're drafting to their strengths on defense or if they want a weapon on offense, because Travis Hunter could be either of those spots. It's really up to a matter of how Kevin Stefanski would want to deploy him. But if I was Kevin Stefanski and also the general manager of the Cleveland Browns myself, I would be going Abdul Carter here, letting Travis Hunter continue to slide down the board because he's going to go at the third spot. This is going to shuffle the entire rest of the draft. Ahmed Membu, they got going number 3 overall to the New York Giants, the G-men down in the Meadowlands. Whoever is eventually the starter for the Giants in 2025 will need better protected than the quarterbacks in the Brian Dable era. Membu is a powerful blocker with elite testing numbers. Yeah, well, they have had also a couple of swings and a couple big misses there at the tackle spot. Do the Giants, are they sold on a 3rd overall pick going offensive line? Is he that guy? Is he him? Is he the next Penei Sewell? Or is he the next Evan Neal? Don't know what to do. Don't really care about the Giants right now. Not a big fan of Russ Wilson, if I'm being honest. Fuck it. Let famous Jameis start winging it, dude. Eating them crab fingers. Let's go, famous Jameis in the Meadowlands, dude. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm 100% a famous Jameis in the Meadowlands guy. Let's go, famous Jameis in the Meadowlands. Shit on Russ Wilson, dude. He's a turd, man. He's a turd. So with the shuffling we see in the top 2 picks with Travis Hunter kind of surprisingly going number 2 overall in this mock draft to the Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter then slides, and where you would probably see either Travis Hunter or Membu going number 4 overall, because theoretically Abdul Carter should go here. The Patriots under Mike Vrabel, who just spent a bunch of money on defense, who understands the importance of defense, who understands the evolution of the NFL into another era of defense wins championships, hard-nosed football. He's licking his chops, just cannot wait to get his dirty little dick beaters on Abdul Carter at the edge. And if I was the New England Patriots and Abdul Carter is still on the board at the number 4 spot, in fact, if Abdul Carter makes it out of the top 2 picks, whomever takes him is running to the podium, right? I mean, the guy's the second best prospect in the draft, number 1 defensive end in a heavy, deep draft class for defensive ends. I'm running to the board. The Patriots will consider Will Campbell, but new head coach Mike Vrabel tips the scales towards Carter. Exactly. Mike Vrabel. I'm a big fan of Mike Vrabel, man. I might slowly start to become a Pats fan just on the fact of Mike Vrabel. I kind of like Drake May. Once Belichick left, it was hard to hate on the Pats, and they've had a few down years here where they've been kind of beaten down and abused, and justifiably so many years of glory. And then, I started to become a fan of Tom Brady once he left the evil empire. But you know what? Now I'm starting to kind of come around on the Pats. They're kind of the underdogs again, right? So, yeah, man, I like Mike Vrabel. We might be rooting for the Patriots a little bit here. They might be my this year's team that I'm low-key rooting for is the Patriots, which sounds super fucking weird. Number 5, they got the Jacksonville Jags gonna go after Ashton Genty, and the resurgence in running backs going in the first round is just baffling. Not baffling, but just to think of where we were a few years ago. We're running backs in the first round. I mean, hell, we've seen more tight ends going in the first round than we've seen running backs going in the first round for a few years there, and it was getting a little ridiculous now with obviously the transition of the NFL back into a more run-centric game. I'm not saying that the Lions are completely the catalyst for that, but I mean, they are showing the importance of having a good run game and the importance of having 2 dynamic running backs. Now, Travis Etienne is still there in Jacksonville, if I do recall. But if they go grab Ashton Genty, he's a dynamic playmaker. And thanks to guys like Bijan Robinson, and then the comp that Ashton Genty gets to Jahmyr Gibbs is just the main reason why you see him bursting up the board, going number 5 overall. What if Jaguars' new and young GM James Gladstone sees increased value in an uber-explosive running back on a rookie deal? This represents the ceiling for Genty and would be a great boost for Jacksonville's running back room. So the Jags are going to be going after best player available down here at number 5, and that's kind of what you run into. Top 5 picks, yeah, they're pretty easy-ish to predict. Right, there are a handful of guys that should project into the first 5 picks. There might be a surprise, but all of these names are kind of where we're seeing. So after you get out of the top 5, then it really starts to shake up. Then you see guys on board sliding. You see teams starting to pick up the phone, start calling more and more, wheeling and dealing. Like, you see guys, obviously here at number 6 with Ashton Genty. I've been mocking Ashton Genty to the Raiders a lot here, but new Raiders GM gets Geno Smith, a typical X wide receiver, with Tet McMillan, 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver out of Arizona. And so what you could see here then is once he's off the board at 6, a run on wide receivers, hypothetically. Or things could stick out the way that they are. Number 7, the Jets. I don't like this. I do not like this pick right here. Shedeur Sanders. The Jets plan for the future quarterback spot and prepare for Sanders-Fields quarterback battle that'll surely grab headlines in August. Yes, because it's in the Meadowlands. It's in the largest media market in the United States, right? And I don't know, man. This comes down to Aaron Glenn. Is this the move Aaron Glenn wants? Does he want this circus in town? As a rookie head coach trying to right a ship. Would it be surprising to see the Jets go defense here? Would it really be that surprising to see the Jets go defense? They did just lose DJ Reed, right? Sauce Gardner could use some help in the secondary, right? Is it so crazy to see the Jets probably trade out if this is the way things shake down, or go early and take a corner in the top 10? Over in the draft, if Sanders to the Jets, AG gone in 2 years. Exactly, my dude. Reed just, yes, 150%. That is exactly how I feel. Aaron Glenn will be signing his own death warrant if they draft Shedeur Sanders. Honestly, if Aaron Glenn... All right, check it out. If I'm Aaron Glenn, I resign after the first night of the draft, and if the GM forces me to take Shedeur Sanders, I resign and then come back as a consultant for the Detroit Lions. Wouldn't that be some shit? Oh man, I just don't like that. That's again it's not what you need. It's not what you need. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders is flashy on paper and he brings the big name, but is that what you need as a first-year head coach trying to right a franchise that has not made the playoffs in nearly 2 decades? Is that what you want? I don't think so. At the 8 spot, Will Johnson, no surprise there. The Panthers, with Johnson, the newly minted J.C. Horn, the Panthers would have 2 instinctive and athletic premier corners. I think he's 6'2". Yeah, so that's a big-bodied corner. And you match him up against some of the wide receivers in the AFC or NFC South. You could even put him on a Kyle Pitts for a little bit if you needed to. Number 10, the Bears. Shamar Stewart, the Bears aim for a high upside potential of Stewart, is making this decision. With him and Montez Sweat, they'd have 2 towering super athletic edge rushers. The 11, Will Campbell. The 49ers gladly stop the fall for Campbell with the future in mind at left tackle. The fall for Campbell because his arms are a cunt hair too short. How ridiculous, man. And this is something that kind of like salts my nuts just a little bit. Let's walk over to the chat real quick. Jeanette Hall, bringing a big name doesn't win games. Exactly. And you think the Jets would have learned this with Aaron Rodgers, right? I'm just saying. But so the Will Campbell short arms things kind of salts my nuts because when I was getting recruited out of high school, I'm like 6'2", just a cunt hair under 6'3", with shoes and boots on, right? And wasn't tall enough to play tackle, which was the natural position that I played at with the long wingspan, and not athletic enough. My legs were just a little too long. I didn't have a quick enough step to transition into the interior offensive line. So the D1 prospects went away real quick once the measurables came in. And then you guys know the story. The rest of it, I got my nuts all salty and decided to sit on couches and smoke a bunch of weed and chase chicks instead of going to college like an asshole. Number 12. So anyway, Will Campbell to the Niners. That makes the most amount of sense. Dallas was going to go after Michael Williams. The Cowboys jumped the opportunity to add Williams to the defensive line after losing DeMarcus Lawrence in free agency. That is a nice rookie replacement for a productive veteran to pair alongside your arguably generational talent in Micah Parsons, right? 13, Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. And this is a mock trade with Miami. Tyler Warren, though, maybe. Again, I don't like taking tight ends in the first round. I don't like taking tight ends in the first round at all, let alone in the top 15. And let's be honest, are the LA Chargers really going to give up the chance to pass on the tight end out of Michigan? Come on. Do you really think Harbaugh's going to do that? I don't think so at all. 14, the Colts, Jalen Walker. The Colts are happy to add an explosive hybrid front seven player to their defense. They need a talent like Walker up front. Number 15, damn it, our guy, Mike Green, climbs. Zero hesitation here from the Falcons, an organization that needs a premier specimen at the edge for a long time now. Mike Green going to the Falcons at 15. Matthew Golden, the wide receiver. I've seen this happen quite regularly, and if this is the way that the Cardinals go, it makes the most amount of sense. You know, they got some money tied up in Kyler Murray. They have the last year they took the first round Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Rondell Moore left in free agency. So the Arizona Cardinals need another weapon, so why not go first round with Matthew Golden, right? 1,000 yards receiving, 17 touchdowns, right? Donovan Jackson going number 17 overall, the big offensive guard from the Ohio State University, staying local in Ohio. I actually like this guy to fall to the 28 spot. He's the third-ranked offensive guard in the draft. This offseason has indicated that the Bengals are serious about keeping their dynamic offense intact. The next order of business needs to be adding a top talent at guard, and Jackson is precisely that. 18, Kelvin Banks Jr., to the Seattle Seabags. Banks is a premier pass blocker who can begin his career at guard and kick out to tackle if either Charles Cross or Abraham Lucas aren't retired in coming years. Is Charles Cross really going to retire in coming years? I mean, he's pretty young. The Pittsburgh Steelers going to trade with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up to 19 to go after Derek Harmon. The Steelers want to add more tenacity and youth on the interior and see Harmon as Cam Hayward 2.0. That's actually what I was going to say. Clearly they're just trying to get themselves the next Cam Hayward. I mean, he's damn near, you stand those guys next together, put a fucking, a mask on them, and you probably ain't going to be able to tell the difference, right? The 20 spot, Colston Loveland. Loveland is coming off an injury but has burst speed and separation skills at the tight end spot. Good news for Bo Nix. They do need a weapon there, but I don't think Loveland, if the Chargers trade up, I think you're going to see a swappage in tight end picks right there, if that were the case. At the 21 spot, the Steelers traded out and moved up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa, Bay Buccaneers. Jahad Barron, the corner out of Texas. Interesting. The number one corner on the board, sliding all the way to 21. After sliding back in a trade with the Steelers, that nets them this pick, along with a third-round selection. And a fourth round, the Buccaneers add another versatility chess piece to the secondary in Barron. They do have, Winfield Jr. out there, and the Bucs defense. Todd Bowles does run a good defense. At the 22 spot, Josh Cornley Jr., this is where the Chargers traded up with the Dolphins, right? And they listed a few picks here. Following their trade back, the Dolphins find an athletic replacement for Taron Armstead at left tackle, or he can begin his career at the right side if Patrick Paul moves over. And then it lists the picks that they got in this mock draft. Ohio State product, Emeka Ekabuka, wide receiver, going to the Green Bay Packers. No sense reading that nonsense there. Nick Emanawari, the workout phenom, the combine superstar, the safety out of South Carolina. You see probably the replacement being picked here for Harrison Smith, who was convinced to come back for one more year. That's interesting to see. The Texans, Gray Zabel, the guy that I'm real high on, going at offensive guard. The Texans continue their offensive line rotation with Zabel, who could be a mobility-based guard or center in the NFL. They do need help protecting C.J. Stroud. The 26th spot mock trade with the L.A. Rams. We've got the Jacksonville Jags going after Walter Nolan, the defensive lineman out of Ole Miss. The Jaguars see a mammoth pass rushing upside with the youthful Nolan and a trade second, third, and fourth round picks for him after going after Gentry. Yeah. Number 27, Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia. As usual, the Ravens let the draft come to them and would boast quite the diverse and talented secondary with Starks added to a safety room, including all-pro Kyle Hamilton. Man, that Kyle Hamilton, Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, Wait, was Kyle Hamilton? No, Kyle Hamilton wasn't in the Penei Sewell draft class, was he? I can't remember off the top of my head. Here you go. The pick we've been waiting for at the 28 spot. The Detroit Lions going to grab Nick Scorton. The Lions need a running mate after Aiden Hutchinson on the other side, outside of the defensive line. We didn't get to see Scorton work in pre-draft workouts, but he's a complete three-down edge rusher. He's big. He's a big guy. And James Pierce Jr. goes the pick right after him. This guy I was kind of thinking we'd be up after the board to go get, but not too much difference between Pierce Jr. and Scorton. Scorton a little bit wider in the ass, a little bit shorter. Pierce Jr. a little bit more speed, a little bit more leaner. Washington calls in this pick immediately. Maturity issues be damned. Pierce was a tremendously productive defensive end at Tennessee over the past 2 seasons. The 30 spot, the Bills are going to go grab Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. And 31, the Kansas City Chiefs, Josh Simmons, the tackle out of Ohio State. And then at the 32 pick, Howie Roseman strikes again and takes Shavon Revel because he loves taking secondary players. So that's some interesting little picks here. And then you see at 33, the Browns are going to grab Jackson Dart. There's that quarterback that they were after. Let's go down here and look at the Lions. Tate Rutledge, interior offensive lineman out of Georgia, taking him before. In the third round, the Detroit Lions, the edge out of Ohio State, JT Tiamalu. Number 4, the 4th round pick, Demetrius King, linebacker out of South Carolina. Where are we at? Where's our 4th round pick? Did I miss it? I must have missed it. Oh, well. Those are not important right now. This is mock drafts on day 3 and 4. I'm sorry, day 3. My bad. All right, so there's that mock draft from CBS Sports. Jalen Milroe, though, I think is a better fit in Cleveland than Jackson Dart at the 33 spot. What do you guys think? Comment down below. All right, let's walk on over to Pride of Detroit. We are a little bit behind schedule. I started a little bit late, and that's okay. We're going to try and keep this this train rolling. Let me hit this coffee real quick before we get into this Pride of Detroit article. Oh, man. See, this is what is pissing me off about OBS. I cannot figure out how to get the exact right window frame for all of these articles. How does Tim Pool do it? How does Tim Pool do this? How does he have, like, the exact... Well, probably because he's a professional. Well, we'll work on that on Sunday. All right, John Whitclair coming to us this morning at 8:30 a.m. 2025 NFL Draft Preview. Could the Lions be in the market for a late quarterback? Could they? Yeah, it depends on who's there. The Detroit Lions Draft Preview quarterbacks under contract: Jared Goff through 2028, Hendon Hooker through 2026. Though potential trade bait right there. Jake Fromm stayed on the practice squad, and then we brought in Kyle Allen. So short-term need is a 1 out of 10. Long-term need is a 2 out of 10. There isn't a lot really to discuss. I mean, it's a backup role at this spot. We're not looking for a quarterback until, Goff's contract is in the back end of his newly reminted deal, right? Pardon me. Jared Goff is the in-question starter going into 2025 and likely beyond. That leaves a number of players fighting for 1 or potentially 2 backup spots. Hendon Hooker is the leading candidate, having gotten the nod at the QB2 for most of the 24 season. However, a late season signing of Teddy Bridgewater pushed him down the depth chart for the Lions' playoff game against the Washington Commies, leaving Hooker a game day inactive. Do the Lions have a confidence crisis with their former third-round quarterback? Yes. Given the offseason moves made by Detroit thus far, the evidence seems to indicate no lack of faith in Hooker. Aside from bringing back Jake Fromm on a futures contract, they signed journeyman backup Kyle Allen to a 1-year, $1.27 million deal, hardly breaking the bank. Though Allen has 19 career starts under his belt, his previous 2 starts were disastrous for the Houston Texans back in 2022. Since then, he had stuck with the Buffalo Bills and Pittsburgh Steelers as a second and third string quarterback, respectively. If the Lions do not see enough progress from Hooker, they could be in the market for another quarterback to groom behind Goff. Despite his recent draft status, Hooker is entering his age 27 season, and his development window might close before too long. It could be a make or break year for Hooker. Meanwhile, Allen and Fromm are only signed for 1 year, so the Lions will undoubtedly need a quarterback next offseason. One concern about drafting a quarterback is might shoehorn the Lions into keeping 3 quarterbacks on the roster in 25, eliminating some roster flexibility, lest they risk waiving and losing Hooker or their rookie. PFF's top 100 has got Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders as the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft. Other notables include my guy, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Max Brosman, and Graham Mertz from Florida. The Lions are unlikely to spend an early draft pick on a quarterback, meaning Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders will certainly be off the board by the time Detroit is picking. Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart, 2 quarterbacks sitting inside PFF's top 100, also sneak into the first 2 rounds, likely too rich for the Lions' taste. If the Lions were to draft a quarterback, they could be in the market for a prospect in the mold of the previous backups Teddy Bridgewater or Nate Sudfeld. What a turd. Backup quarterbacks tend to be viewed as one of 3 types: a fringe starter, a developmental player, or a de facto quarterback coach. Bridgewater was a fringe starter, but his true value with the Lions came as a trusted member in the film room and a motivator on the practice field. Hooker falls into the developmental category, so Detroit could look for a prospect with a lower ceiling but a high football IQ. 2 draftable names there are Max Brosman and Graham Mertz. They lack the athletic profile like Hooker, but they have been projected as cerebral players. Yeah, if I'm Detroit, I'm not going quarter. If I'm even in the market for a quarterback, right? Now, if Jalen Milroe is still there at the back end of the 3rd round, yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. But if he's not, I mean, it's a pretty steep fall off in the tier of quarterbacks in this year's draft class. And if the Lions really want to draft a guy, anything before the 3rd or the 5th round who isn't named Jalen Milroe is just a burn of a pick, dude. It's just a burn of a pick, if you ask me. So I look, Jared Goff is our guy. Hendon Hooker's been in the system for a while. It kind of depends on his development this offseason. Can he change his trajectory? Does John Morton have faith in Hendon Hooker, right? The signing, though, of Kyle Allen, if you bring him in as competition, you don't really lose much if you release him. But the Teddy Bridgewater move at the end of the season, heading into the playoffs, and then the Kyle Allen signing it just doesn't necessarily leave a good taste in my mouth. And, I mean, in reality, Jake Fromm is a dark horse who could have a great offseason, really understand the system, and flourish as in this futures contract and emerge as the backup quarterback, right? That could potentially happen. I'm not high on the Lions taking a QB in the draft at all, unless it's Jalen Milroe with that compensatory 3rd-round pick. So now that that's out of the way, now that we've talked about the draft, we got a few minutes here. You guys, we're going to head on over to Pro Football Network, and you guys know me. I'm going to be doing a 7-round mock draft as the Detroit Lions, all 7 rounds, on normal speed. So we'll do this mock draft, and then we'll do one next week. All right, so we got 2 weeks. Next week's mock draft will leave us 8 days out from the draft, and we will probably plan on doing a special live show, an hour or 2, that Thursday of the draft, which we'll be doing a ton of mock drafts. So please come hang out. I really want to have the chat involved, kind of see what your guys' take is on the picks. We'll be really putting the brakes on it and trying to engage. And we'll do a couple different mock drafts as well as poke around to some news that day to see what's going around, the rumor mill of the NFL as far as who's going where, and things will start to heat up in the next 10 days. So here we are. We're going to do our best that we can, and I'm going to try to avoid the normal, guys that I just can't stop drafting, the Mike Greens, that type of stuff. The Chat and Beard Show. That's right. It will be a Chat and Beard Show that day, my dude. It will 100% be. I'm just making sure my test screen, for some reason, bogged way down. All right, there we go. It will be a Chat and Beard Show that day. I mean, we've been pretty chatty today, let's be honest, and that's kind of the thing that we like to accomplish here. We're trying to make it feel like you're listening to a radio show, and the chat is you calling in. Hey, you know what? Maybe eventually, if we do get big enough, I'll put a line in so people can call in, right? Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be something? So before we get into this draft here, guys, do me a solid. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so that you can be notified when we do these live, Monday through Wednesday, and then the surprise pop-up streams that we do. Like maybe Sunday I might do a little bit of testing with OBS. Might change a couple things here in the studio, try and get a little bit better of an image here. Maybe hang out with you guys while we kind of fiddle around and fart around with that. And then also make sure you like the video, comment down in the chat, or comment down below if you're watching this on the video on demand afterwards what you think the Lions should do with their first round pick here. And then, as always, share this video around with all your friends. Just copy that link down to your clipboard. Now that we've done all that, guys, let's do it. Let's light this popsicle and get into this. So let's enter solo draft as the Detroit Lions. We're gonna kind of watch it. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Will Campbell, Abdul Carter, Ahmed Membu, Ashton Genty, Shedeur Sanders, Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Calvin Banks, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Shamar Stewart, Jalen Walker, Mike Green, Tyler Booker, McMillan, Derek Harmon, Micah Williams, Matthew Golden, Malachi Starks, Nick Amanawarie, Nick Scorton, Jahad Barron, Josh Simmons, Luther Bolden, Gray Zabel, and now we are on the clock. Hey, let's go ahead and just hide this real quick. There's a couple things that popped off to me. Those two is exactly what we just seen out of the CBS mock draft, right, that they did. Will Campbell totally dodges the short arms bullshit, and the Giants get themselves their future offensive tackle for the next 5-7 years. And then Abdul Carter at 4, right? So things kind of go exactly as we've seen. Mason Graham, though, climbing up into the top 10. But I don't think we've seen him get taken on this CBS one. So a few surprises. This is right here, 17. McMillan to the Arizona Cardinals. They just sank a ton of money into their wide receivers, right? $69 million a year. Nice. Between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the cap. You know what I'm saying? So do they really go McMillan here? All indications would be that the Bengals are going to have to draft from a position of need and have to go defense. So here we go. Let's see our trade offers. Let's pick up the phone. Hello, this is Brad Holmes. And I know, look, I get it. Time and time again, people confuse me for Brad Holmes, but I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys this. There's a real easy way to tell the difference between me and Brad Holmes. He's got a lot shorter hair than I do, okay? The Brownies offering up a lot. I like that right there. Don't like that. Well, this is a no-brainer, right, fellas? Let's hang on. Let's minimize this. Let's see who's on the board. Quite a few guys. Donovan Jackson, Milroe, Landon Jackson. Yeah. Okay. Now, I would consider Jahad Campbell. Oh, that'd be it. Let's look at his. This disruptive defender at the linebacker can impact the game in both phases. He has an excellent size and length. Is an outstanding athlete overall. He's an explosive mover who flashes a very good short area quickness and straight line speed. Campbell is a highly versatile player who is best as an off-ball tackler and is also asked to rush the passer as a blitzer, utilizing explosiveness, power, and length. Campbell will occasionally get lost working through junk and can get covered up coming down vertically. Additionally, Campbell is a reactionary player rather than an instinctive player. Okay, so he plays with his head a little bit. He is a read and react linebacker who has to see the play develop in front of him rather than anticipate the play. His instinct and awareness are below average and often is a culprit for falling for traps, counters, and reverses. Campbell has an exciting blend of speed, power, and length, the highly disruptive player at the second level of an NFL defense. That's an interesting prospect. All right, so Keitho, good morning, Keitho, over in the chat, wants to go after James Pierce Jr. Okay, yeah, and I'm actually very high on the James Pierce Jr. pick right here. That seems like a kind of like a no-brainer. We have seen some off-field issues, some personality issues with James Pierce Jr., which is why we're starting to see him kind of slide down a little bit. Golly, I didn't even. Yeah, you know what, Keitho? I'm in agreement with you. Are you still in the chat, buddy? Are you still in the chat? Because I like this take where you're going with this. I like the James Pierce Jr. Yep, you're right. You're right, Keitho. You convinced me. Shout out to Keitho in the chat. Appreciate it, brother. You convinced me. Let's go ahead and okay, yep, boom. Making sure everything's still plumb level and square over on the back end. Yeah, we're gonna Kenneth Grant yeah. Kenneth Grant went oh, no, Mason Graham is who I was thinking went. Let's go over to defense and take a look at the defensive tackle spot. Kenneth Grant is still there. Kenneth Grant is still available. So knowing that DJ Reader is getting older, knowing that Aleem McNeil, I don't know, I was drawing a blank there. Aleem McNeil is going to miss training camp and potentially the first few weeks of the regular season. Who knows? Maybe even the first half of the regular season. It all depends on his rehab, right? Do you have enough faith in Levi Onwuzurike? Do you have enough faith in Roy Lopez, who is DJ Reader, replacement, big body, not a pass rush guy? Do we take a look at Kenneth Grant? Let's take a look at Kenneth Grant. Grant is one of the most explosive defensive tackle prospects, over 300 pounds, 330 pounds, 10 to the NFL draft. He fits into a rare player category with high-level blend size of speed and power. His lower body strength is enough to demand significant attention from opposing offensive lines on a snap-to-snap basis. His physical profile is ideal for eating blockers up to free up his line mates and the linebackers navigating the traffic behind him. Sold. Yeah, dude, Keitho, my guy. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't want to sound like an asshole. Are you new here, bro? I've never seen you in the chat before, so I'm happy you're here, dude. I love this take. To be honest, I had total blinders on thinking about Kenneth Grant. I totally had blinders on. You make a very good point. You've brought up, well, I say you brought up points, but you've made me think of some very good points. That is the guy. You've been around. Okay, bro. Okay, right on, man. Right on. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to sound like a dick or nothing, bro. I just, you know what I'm saying? It's good to see you here, dude. I'm thank you for hanging out and engaging in the chat, bro. Because seriously, this son of a bitch, I didn't even think about this. My guy. Yo. All right. Okay. So we'd be trading back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Campbell, I imagine Agabuka, Pierce Jr. won't make it. Revel, Big E's there. I'm having analysis paralysis. I think that I want Kenneth Grant. You've convinced me. It's the best pick. Hell yeah, Mr. Detroit City says to Keitho, welcome home, dude. We are happy to have you here, bro. Seriously. Make sure you keep that notification bell on, bro. We try and hang out as much as we can. I'm stuck. I'm so stuck. Okay, hey guys, what are we doing? Am I trading out, or am I going to take Kenneth Grant? Am I trading out, or am I going to take Kenneth Grant? Do I roll the dice, or do I pull the trigger? I think there's still a lot of picks there, but man, Kenneth Grant really hits that, fills it. I think the Bills will grab Brand. Yeah, dude. And that's so the Bills are actually who I was worried about, was the Bills taking Grant. That is exactly what I was worried about. All right, you guys convinced me. Let's do it. Kenneth Grant, welcome aboard. Woo! Let's go! We just solved our defensive line problems because now with Aleem McNeil under contract and an explosive Kenneth Grant with our first round pick, giving us a potential 5 years under a rookie scale contract, the dude can be massive. He can disrupt. He can eat up. And you guys know me. I like a big wide ass on defense to eat up blockers so that my Brian Urlacher-esque Jack Campbell can roam free. Alex Anzalone can drop the hammer on guys, and Derek Barnes can clean up the mess with his newly rehabbed knee. I fucking love it. Wingo at edge, and I think he will ball out. Yeah, dude, I was kind of wondering, is Mekhi Wingo going to make the transition to edge, because he's kind of falls into that Josh Paschal type build. A little too big to play as a rush edge, a little too small to play as a 3 technique, let alone a 1 technique, right? However, can Mekhi Wingo ascend to that bookend defensive end that I've been talking about, right? That collapsible end that Hutch is going to collapse the pocket into. Can Mekhi Wingo be that guy? I think he can. I loved the tape on Mekhi Wingo coming out of college, right? I loved it. Oh, man. We'll have to see what Calvin Shepard cooks up, right? I think Calvin Shepard's going to be a better defensive coordinator than Aaron Glenn. They're just going to peruse. You know what? I'm not trading. No, I'm not trading out of the second round pick. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Maxwell Harrison. We've taken Membo a bunch of times. There's Tate Rutledge. We're not going defensive tackle first and second round. There's too many defensive tackles in the room for my blood. All the edge guys are gone, huh? Lost all the oh yeah. Oh hey. Oh, there are my two guys right there. Both those guys right there. I'm not gonna take them in the second round. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think Wingo will ball out, Keith. Though I think you're right, bro. Oh man, Josiah Stewart and Jordan Birch, but we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go that in the second round. I like Tate Rutledge. Man, this second round is kind of goofy. The second round is goofy, man. I feel like I'm reaching for Josiah Stewart, but am I? Analysis paralysis again, boys. Analysis paralysis again. I kind of lean in Shamar Turner. Keitho says in the chat, I think Nate Lynn is going to be a surprise. A lot of us, he looked good till he got hurt. Stewart for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking Stewart. Oh, pardon me. I'm thinking Stewart, but is the value there at the second round? I mean, he's got a day 3 grade. I've seen, just yesterday we were talking about him getting projected out in the 4th round. Sometimes you need to reach, Mr. Detroit City. You are correct. Are you guys just like confirmation biasing me here? Are you just telling me what I want to hear? All right, fuck it. Why not? Let's go Michigan. Keeping it local, dude. Keeping it facts. Let's go. Josiah Stewart. Bam! Let's go, Josiah Stewart. I loved what I seen, and if he can get some toolage, obviously he's not a 3-down edge right now. He's a little undersized for that, but if you can get yourself an explosive pass rush specialist in the second round, I mean, that's got to count for something, right? That's got to count for something. Now, you think of the defensive line that we've just built out with our first 2 picks, the guys we have in-house, the coming back of Mr. Mayhem, Aiden Hutchinson, with his bionic leg, going to be a fucking monster this year. Golly, we're drafting to our strengths here, boys. And I talk about drafting to our strengths. I do have a beard and wear a hat. We must all think and we must all think alike. Hey, it's got to be something, man. Right? We're all just the same guy, right? We're all just the same dude out here. Actually, speaking of same shit. So I was thinking about, I like to wear Hawaiian shirts on the show. And during the season, I was thinking of having 5 separate Hawaiian shirts to wear. And my plan is this red shirt here. This is going to be our red Friday shirt, Victory Friday. You know, Tiger Woods always wore the red polo when he wanted to win. This is going to be our Victory Friday shirt. It's going to bring good omens to us. And then on Monday, thinking about getting a green one so we can cash green on Monday, baby. You know me, I can't stop betting on games. And there we see Jordan Birch and Deion Walker, 2 guys that I was kind of high on. This is our 3rd round pick. Here we go, our compensatory pick for Aaron Glenn being hired as the New York Jets. I almost said New York Football Giants. The New York Jets head coach gives us a 3rd round compensatory pick, thanks to the Rooney rules. There's Jonas Sanker, the Spanker. We've taken him a few times. So real quick, as the safety room and free agency continues to develop, we have 2 young safeties. Obviously, Iffy left in free agency. And what I was thinking is, would it be out of this world for the Lions to go after the mercenary Justin Simmons? He's a free agent, right? He spent 1 year in Atlanta. Still plays at a high level, and at this part of his career, he should be chasing a ring. Does Justin Simmons fit the culture and the mold to come in as a veteran leader for the top 2 of the top 5 safeties in the NFL, who both happen to play in Detroit? Number 31, Kirby Joseph. Number 32, Brian B.B. Branch, right? I think Kirby Joseph's the best safety in the game. do we add this veteran, this third rotationary safety, this guy who knows the game? I think the Lions should do that. So I'm gonna go and use this third pick. We are going to shy away from Sanker the Spanker, right? And we are going to look at we're going to go elsewhere. I've been taking Sanker the Spanker in the third round too many times now. Man, there's not a lot here to starting to get into the corners and the wide receivers. Quinn Ewers. See who's there at quarterback. Is Ewers the top guy? Yeah, Ewers is there. Not a lot after him. Not like I'm interested in taking a safety. Over in the chat, possibly I think we definitely drafting a safety. I think so too, but if we do, it's Sanker the Spanker. And we take him here. But Jalen Reed, the safety out of Penn State, he ain't bad neither. All right, let's go back up here at the top of the draft. We're going to probably take Dylan Fairchild, the guard out of Georgia. Powerful and technically sound offensive lineman with the versatility to excel at guard or tackle. A nice rotationary guy. Known for his physical aggression, he can at times tend to the over-aggressive side, which can hurt his technique and positioning. Yes, but we're going to take Dylan Fairchild, plays at a high level, and we're not expecting him to be a starter right out of the rip, considering we still have Graham Glasgow under contract, even though he did take a massive step back last year. And I'm projecting Christian Mahogany to take over that Kevin Zeitler spot because, man, oh man, he played like a man possessed. Once he cleared up his personal life things and came back to the organization, was able to work through it. He played at a very, very high level. I have a very high ceiling for Christian Mahogany. No, I will not trade. In fact, I'm not even going to hide. I'm going to reject. I'm not going to trade with the Chefs. I do not like the Chefs. Well, here we go. Look at this. Here we go. Where we are, fourth round, and look who made it all the way to the fourth round. Mr. Spanker himself, Jonas Sanker the Spanker. So I was going to take him in the third round. Bam! Welcome aboard, Jonas Sanker the Spanker. I can't stop drafting you as a special teams phenom. I like it a lot. Round 5. We're plugging away. We're running a little overtime, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We tend to do this the last day of the week, don't we? Yeah. We tend to get a little out in the weeds. But, hey, whatever. You guys are hanging, I'm hanging. We're all just chilling. Look at all these trades. I haven't traded at all, have I? Is this the first mock draft I've done where I haven't traded? Keitho. Look at you, Keitho. Convincing me to make the smart move and go after our guy Kenneth Grant. Look at you, dude. Look at you, Keitho. Give some love to Keitho, everybody. Seriously. I could have made a real dumb decision and traded out, and then none of my guys would have been there. None of my guys would have been there, right? Came down to a hard argument between James Pierce Jr., who's a pass rush phenom in the first round, but do you take a one-trick pony in the first round? Or Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant hits all the metrics. He solves all the needs, right? Son of a bitch. I've been overlooking him this whole time. Got pie on my face, fellas. Got pie on my face for that one. Keitho coming in hot and heavy, dude. My guy. Dude. Yeah, I like it. All right, 6th round pick. We are way out in it. These are guys that I don't ever see. How about, do we look wide receiver? Do we look corner? Do we go after a corner? Let's see who's out there in the wide receiver room, huh? Jimmy Horn Jr. is an undersized receiver who primarily opted from the slot in his career, transferred from South Florida to Colorado after a sophomore year, and has concerningly low college production totals. He has never topped more than 600 yards in his career, below 40 catches. Horn is a well below average ball. Why is he? Nope. Sorry, dude. Not interested. Oh, here we go. I could take Max Brosmer. We just read about a little bit, right? Get a little quarterback competition. Maybe a little stash him away for a while. Put a little heat under Hendon Hooker's a little behind there. Maybe tell him to shit or get off the pot. Boy, there's not a lot down here, is there? Ooh, Raheem Sanders. Huh? It looked like Raheem Rocket Sanders might be a potential top 50 pick. Injuries snapped a bit of his top gear away from him, though, leaving Sanders lacking some of his breakaway speed that made him a round 1 candidate. Nonetheless, Sanders still finds a way to break off chunk plays, and he's one of the most impressive receiving backs in the class. South Carolina often lined him outside on empty sets, and he flashed a bit of toe drag swag in 2004. Or 2024, 2004. Yeah, he's playing college ball in 2004, just not hit the draft. He's not Bo Nix. Bo Nix, the 50-year-old rookie. Ooh, Jackson Hawes. We've taken him a few times. Or am I going to do this thing that I always do where I go Sanker the Spanker and then Jackson Hawes? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's just not a lot. There's just not a lot out here anymore. This is your Stackhouse. Not liking what we're seeing. Not liking what we're seeing, boys. Yeah, we're down in the weeds. All right. We're just going to keep it simple, stupid. And we're going to take the... kind of like Raheem Sanders. Just to add depth to the running back room. Yeah, fuck it. Raheem Sanders in the 6th round. Why not? I mean, if he was for a while there, he had a first-round grade. Obviously, what we read, the injuries have slowed him down a bit, but never know what you could get out of the guy. And then, depth to running back room. Obviously, we've got the top 2, Monty and Gibbs, and then Craig Reynolds and Sione Vaki. Add a little bit of pressure to those two guys. You're going 6th round running back. It's okay if you stash him. Think of Jamar Jefferson. Stash him on the practice squad. Bump him up occasionally due to necessities. You know what I'm saying? And, if Sione Vaki just turns out to be more of a special teams guy, then you don't have to rely on him to be the depth piece that could then be Raheem Sanders' role. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a pretty solid little move here. And our 7th round pick. Here we go. So what's going on here? Nope, I know what we're doing. I don't care. I'm a homer. Jacob Gideon, offensive center out of Western Michigan, huh? Brings an extensive experience versatility to the table. A consistent 4-year starter, he seamlessly adapted to both guard and center roles, playing 2,300 snaps. Known for his strength and his ability to create running lanes, Gideon is a reliable force on the ground. As a team captain, his leadership and experience proved pivotal in Western Michigan's offensive success. To improve his draft prospects, Gideon needs to work on his athleticism for a more dynamic offense and refine his hand placement techniques to handle defensive counters more effectively. His experience and leadership makes him a solid candidate. Sounds like a Brad Holmes guy. And then you put him under the tutelage of the best offensive line coach in the game, Hank Fraley, and you will sure see this guy develop into a solid rotationary player, if not the eventual successor to Frank the Tank Ragnow, who, as much as we love Frank Ragnow, I almost called him Hank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow here at the Hat and Beard Show. Man, it is, the reality is he's not going to be there forever. The dude has been through a lot of injuries, and the fact that he keeps coming back and playing at such an insanely high level, and he's just an outstanding guy off the field. 2 years ago, he was a Walter Payton Man of the Year award finalist for the NFL coming out of Detroit. Does a lot for the community. He's just a good-natured individual. And go check him out on YouTube. He's got his own channel where he... it's not football related. It's outdoors. It's hunting. It's fishing. It's him being the type of guy that we all kind of like around here. Yo, hey, Cody Till making it. Cody Till, yo. Hey, brother, you made it. But we're about wrapping up here. You got a few more minutes here to hang out. I didn't see you the last couple nights at work, bud. You just off, or is everything okay? I was gonna say what's up to you yesterday, but I've never seen you. All right, so here we are, 7th round. Hey, you know what? If it's our 7th pick, our last pick, let's just take Jackson Hawes. Jackson Hawes, welcome aboard. Cody, yeah, days off. Back today. All right, my guy. I'll see you today, brother. I got today, tomorrow, then I'm off Friday, then I work a goofy schedule on Saturday. But we'll see you today, bro. Just a heads up. It's kind of a weird environment at work recently, brother. It's kind of weird out there. Things, you know how it is there, dude. You know how it is. So here we go. Kenneth Grant at the 28th spot. I love it. I love it. I love it. Always is. Damn straight, Cody. Keith, though, I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've been so high on edge this entire draft. My whole thought process was edge, 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 position of need, or, oh God, I've been on two polar opposite ends. The two things that I try and say you don't want to be drafting from is that as a position of need or being forced into taking a guy you don't necessarily want, right? So I was expecting us. Great show as always, man. Thank you, Mr. Detroit City. I really, really appreciate your support, bro. You're always here helping, keeping things moving along. Mr. S, glad I made it to see this live. Right on, Mr. S. I don't think I know you. Welcome, bro. Welcome. It's the end of the show, though, bro. We're just wrapping up, kind of getting our last little bits in here before we head into the weekend. I'm super glad you made it, though, dude. Are you new here? Are you new here, Mr. S? Oh, Paul! What's up, Paul? Holy shit, man. How are you, bro? Oh, dude, I heard you kind of went through some shit, man. You doing good, brother? You doing good? You eating well? You're taking care of yourself now, man? I heard you kind of went through some stuff. So I'm glad you're back and in the chat, my dude. How you doing, bro? I'm so glad. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad. I was actually telling I told Brian this the other day. Well, I guess it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I said, hey man, what's going on with Paul, dude? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, to be honest with you, man, Paul's like one of the more active people on my channel. Like he's generally comments, you know what I'm saying? And then I told him how I've been doing this live show. And I was like, I haven't seen Paul at all, man. I was like, is he okay? And then he kind of told me what was going on. You know, so I'm glad, you know, we've been keeping you in our thoughts and prayers around here, brother. I'm glad you're doing well, dude. I'm glad you're better. I'm glad things are correcting themselves for you, man. I'm glad you're doing well, bro. Glad to see you here, dude. I'm really glad to see you here, bro. Thank you for making it. And, you know, we Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., you know right where to find me, dude. So we're going to look over our draft picks here. Kenneth Grant. Keitho, you've completely changed my mind. As I was saying, I wanted us to draft from a position of need, and that was best available edge player or trade out to go after the best available edge player or draft to our strengths, right? An offensive guard in the first round. Excuse me. But Keitho comes in with facts and logic and convinces me, completely undoes all of my thought process, and now I'm 100% in the Kenneth Grant camp. Holy shit. If Kenneth Grant is there at 28, you have to take him. You have to take him. Hell yeah. See, Paul, getting some love, Mr. Detroit City. God bless you, dude. Hell yeah. God bless, Paul. That's what's up, Paul. See, you got love here, bro. The community here thinking about you, dude. Hell yeah. And then we ran it back. Not necessarily the guy that I have been taking. Could have maybe waited for him in the third round. That's a lot of picks, though, but we ended up grabbing Josiah Stewart. Yeah, it's Michigan, but Josiah Stewart has a tremendous amount of upside if used properly. And since we were able to fill a huge void in our defense, it allows versatility amongst our toolbox of defensive players, right? It allows Josh Paschal, it allows Wingu to play the edge, right? It allows versatility, and it puts this massive body alongside DJ Reader, alongside Roy Lopez, next to, when he comes back, Aleem McNeil, to eat up bodies. And not only does he eat up bodies and take up space, he's powerful, he's explosive, and he's 330 pounds. You're getting the mobility and athleticism of a 290-pound defensive end at 330 pounds. It hits the marks that I want, that big, wide ass, right? So then our second-round pick, we were able to go and reach a little bit. Like Mr. Detroit City said, though, sometimes you have to take a gamble on a guy with so much upside like Josiah Stewart. And, yeah, we don't need him to be a 3-down rush edge. But what we do need is now the extreme amount of pressure put on by this pass rush specialist, who is a high upside that we didn't get in the first round, still on a rookie scale contract, that puts a tremendous amount of pressure from both edges, both Aiden Hutchinson and Josiah Stewart, and then you have the two big bodies in the middle collapsing the pocket. It makes for a perfect shitstorm for opposing offenses. God damn, I love this Kenneth. That Kenneth Grant pick opens up so many avenues for us. Oh, Keitho, my dude. At the third round, we grabbed Dylan Fairchild, the offensive guard, because that is a strength and need that we have. My guy Jonas Sanker, the Spanker, in the fourth round, right? Because I was considering him at the back in the third round. He fell to us at the fourth round. I didn't need to get greedy on 2 picks, right? Didn't need to get greedy at the second and the fourth pick. Second and third pick, Jonas Sanker falls to us at 4. Sanker, the Spanker, special teams phenom. At 196, again, depth, luxury. Raheem Sanders, early on his career, Raheem the Rocket, had a first-round grade on him. We're getting him in the 5th round. Yeah, some injuries have slowed him down. However, he doesn't have to come in and be that cat right from the jump. Doesn't have to have all that pressure on him. He's a rotationary role player who could excel in our offensive scheme. Jacob Gideon, because I'm a homer from Western Michigan, 2,300 collegiate snaps. 4-year starter at Western Michigan, interior offensive lineman. Rotationary guy with the added upside of you play well, you learn, and you end up being the heir apparent to Frank the Tank Ragnow. And then in the 7th round, I can't stop drafting Jackson Hawes because he's a run-blocking phenom. I'm actually really happy with this draft. I'm really, really happy with this draft. And it all was unlocked because of Kenneth Grant, an avenue I hadn't even considered. Holy shit, I'm in love with that Kenneth Grant pick. I'm so high on that Kenneth Grant pick right now. So just to recap, we perused the CBS Sports 7-round mock draft. We went through the first couple of rounds there. The first round, we went through every pick, and then we kind of perused who the Lions were getting in who they have projected rounds 2 through 7. We looked over at Pride of Detroit, the 2025 NFL Draft Preview, asking the question, could the Lions be in the market for a late quarterback? That is, depending on who's available, it's either a burn of a pick or an unnecessary selection. Don't think the Lions need to go after a backup quarterback in the draft. We have Kyle Allen, Jake Fromm, and still Hendon Hooker under contract. Those 3 guys can compete for the backup role, and then one of them can be stashed away on the practice squad. All right. And then we ended up doing our weekly ProFootballNetwork.com mock draft, 7 rounds as the Detroit Lions, where, oh boy, am I high on this Kenneth Grant pick now. Man, oh man. Thank you for opening that window up for me there on that viewpoint, Keitho. Thank you to everybody hanging out in the chat. Mr. Detroit City, Jeanette Hall, Cody Till, Mr. S, and Keitho. All of you guys kept this show running. I really, really appreciate the engagement. It is, look, you guys make the show. I just host a son of a bitch, right? I'm just reading articles. You guys get me chitting and chatting. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 100% here for it. I like what we do here, and I like the engagement. So, look, guys, we went a little longer today. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's Wednesday. We're 15 days away from the draft. Weekend's coming up. Just a subtle reminder to everybody. Friday night starts UFL games all weekend long. UFL Friday Night Football on Fox. And then Sunday, your Michigan Panthers, we ended up losing to the who was it from Alabama? Birmingham Stallions. We ended up losing to Birmingham last week. And now we get to deal with the San Antonio Brahmins, which they're kind of a shit of a organization, which should be a get-right game for the Michigan Panthers. Make sure you tune in, check that out if you're needing the itch to take care of that little football scratch that you got if draft coverage and my channel isn't quite satisfying you enough, or watching game replays on NFL Network isn't quite scratching that itch for you. Look, check out the UFL. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass, right? There is a significant drop off in talent, right? It is a mix of incredibly elite players and some guys who just didn't quite have enough to make it in the league, right? But there's still plays to be made. There's a lot of different viewpoints of the UFL. They put cameras on defensive players. There's a tremendous amount of transparency with the officiating, which is refreshing and a total sign that the NFL should consider doing this as well. And, there's also that love of the game, so you get a little bit of the college environment, not so much the crowd size, but the guys playing for the passion, right? They're not making a lot of money doing this. I think some of the highest paid players make like $50K a year, right? That's not nothing to shake a stick at. But when you contrast that to their counterparts in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? Even the league minimum is, 10 times that? You know what I'm saying? But it's something to check out if you're feeling bored, feeling froggy, you want to check something out on your downtime this weekend. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your weekend, or a good start and week. Good start to and a good weekend. After we get through Saturday night, Sunday is going to be a little bit of farting around, maybe puttering around in the garage a little bit. And then we might be just doing a little testing out OBS here live. So, if you want to come hang out in the afternoon Sunday, we might be doing that. I'm not 100%. Just keep notifications on. You'll see that. Come hang out and just kind of shoot the shit and chew the fat. I think that's going to be it today for us, fellas. I do appreciate everybody tuning in, both for the live, and I appreciate those of you watching on the video on demand. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think of the Lions, what we did in the draft, and who the Lions should take in the first round. Anybody who could convince me that Kenneth Grant wasn't the right pick at 28, you're wrong. That is a A+ grade in my opinion. Keitho, thank you for bringing that up. So, for myself here at Grandma Studio One, I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Have a good rest of your week and a great start to the weekend, guys. Until Monday at 10 a.m., I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Bonga bonga. Frig off.